6 p.m. I'll call to order the work session for the City of Franklin City Council on August the 11th, 2025. Do I have roll call? Dr. Johnson?
Present.
Mr. Kitchen?
Here.
Ms. Copeland?
Present.
Mr. McLemore?
Present.
Mr. Grizzard?
Present.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda for the work session?
So moved.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, take the vote. Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
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 And aye. Thank you very much. Mr. Bagley, join us from SIPSA. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. I appreciate you having me back. I was here about 18 months ago and gave you a briefing on SIPSA and what our plans were over the next 12 to 18 months. And I'm back here today to share where we are at this point. We made some significant progress over the last 18 months, and there's a few things that we want to discuss with you that we need to do in order to move forward. So tonight's briefing is really to fill you in on where we've gone since the last time I was here. First of all, I want to go back, if we can, and revisit some of the things that we talked about previously, just to make sure everybody's on the same page. Effective January of 2018, SIPSA entered into identical use of support agreements with all of our 8-member communities. Those use of support agreements were identical. Everybody got the same service for the same dollars. The use of support agreements really are fundamental documents defining how we're going to work together, what SIPSA will do for each of the member communities. The initial term of those use of support agreements are set to expire on June the 30th of 2027, which is right around the corner. And each of the use of support agreements will automatically renew for an additional 10 years unless a member community notifies SIPSA 18 months in advance of that, which is actually December the 31st of this year, that they do not intend to renew their use of support agreements with SIPSA. So why should you renew your use of support agreements? First of all, SIPSA has proven itself over the last 10 years at least that we are a competent and efficient organization. We do a very good job. You don't hear from your citizens about the waste not being disposed of. We do what we say we're going to do, and we've proven that. SIPSA and the City of Franklin have partnered for many years and provided excellent service to your citizens. And SIPSA has recently obtained the regulatory permits for cells 8 and 9. And this is a very important factor because you now own you own landfill capacity now to get you through 2060. One of the unfortunate things is that we just received our permit from the Department of the Army Corps of Engineers and DEQ to expand into those wetlands. But as part of the issuing that permit, SIPSA had to agree to give up any further expansion of the regional landfill into additional wetlands. So it's important to note that 2060, if you continue doing what you're doing right now, and SIPSA doesn't change at all, we will be expired. All of our landfill capacity will be expired in 2060, and we'll be trucking all of our waste out of the region, which is going to be extremely expensive, and I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. Future disposal capacity, maintaining future disposal capacity at the regional landfill it will provide you an economical disposal option for years and years to come. If you lose that ability to have the landfill in your back pocket when you go to the negotiating table to try to find someplace else to take your waste, you're at their mercy, and they can charge you pretty much what they want, and that's what's happened in our industry. The landfill is located on wetlands that are geologically connected to the Dinsmore Swamp, and through the expansion effort that we've just gone through, which took 5 years to get the last 109 acres of landfill capacity permitted, again, we will not be able to expand any further. And through that process, I'll share with you that we looked at 210 different sites across all of SIPS's communities, member communities. There were only 2 sites that were suitable for construction of a landfill. They were both in Southampton County. You can imagine the uproar in Southampton County when there was some discussion about even considering a landfill there. Southampton County issued a resolution stating that no landfill would be constructed in Southampton County, and that killed the last 2 options that were available. So there are no other options. We've explored every piece of property that was 200 acres and larger, from the shores of the Atlantic all the way to almost to Emporia. So there is no other location. Current waste volumes that we currently are bringing in, which is about 450,000 tons a year for the region. Capacity, even the expanded capacity, would be over in 2060. We'd be without any further landfill space. After 2060, waste would have to be hauled outside of the region, and part of our environmental impact statement, a third party evaluated what that cost would be, and that cost would be over $125 a ton to take it outside of the region.
That's in today's dollars or that?
That's today's dollars. That's a good, very good point. And that's the next bullet here. This was done by a third party, had nothing to do with SIPSA. The Army Corps hired them, and they made that calculation as part of determining which was the least environmentally damaging practical alternative. So the only way to ensure capacity of the regional landfill past 2060 is to reduce the volume going into the landfill, which we should be doing anyway as a society. How do we reduce the volume of waste going into the landfill? When I was here last, I explained to you that we were looking at some options to re-implement some recycling and some other options that would reduce the volume. At that point, I wasn't certain about what the volume reduction would be, but today I can tell you that that number is significant, and I'm going to go through that in just a minute. SIPS is finalizing a contract negotiations with Commonwealth Sortation LLC to provide a mixed waste sorting facility using AI and robots to remove recyclables and organics from the waste stream. This contract guarantees a 50% reduction in landfill space being used. And I mean, I want to emphasize the word guarantee. As part of our contract negotiations, we have liquidated damages if they don't do that, and very clear means of determining how much they're going to be sent into the landfill. 20% of the waste would be recycled. The national average for recycling currently using the existing methods is about 6.8%. We're talking about 20% recycling rate, and it's guaranteed. There'll be a 30% reduction by removing any of the organics, and that organics would be go through a pyrolysis process and would create something called biochar, which is something that sequesters carbon, which is a kind of a catchphrase now that's being used, and then those carbon credits are sold on the market to reduce other footprints for carbon. Would you repeat that? Yes, sir. The 30% of the waste that will be taken from the landfill would be organics. And that organics will go through a pyrolysis process. And pyrolysis is a very simple process. Anyone? Break it down so the average citizen could understand. What is organic? Organics is food waste, yard waste, anything that will degrade and turn into some other product. Compost comes from organics. But what this does, the pyrolysis process is a very simple process that everyone's done in chemistry before. You apply heat in the absence of oxygen, and it degrades it down to its base components, which is carbon. And then that carbon is a charcoal-looking material. That's how they make charcoal. So that waste material then becomes valuable for a lot of things. They use it in cement now as an additive to cement, and then that's carbon is sequestered for forever in the cement. It's used for alternative daily cover at landfills to reduce odor and absorb those odors and methane.
Okay, when that process of that, would you be still producing syngas as well?
That syngas is used, yes, you would, but that syngas is used to fire to provide the heat for the pyrolysis system. Okay. And it also provides electricity to the plant.
Dr. Johnson, wait, don't forget to key your mic.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Did I answer your question, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, thank you.
So the alternative waste disposal would reduce the waste stream by 50%, which is a significant number. Other benefits, Commonwealth Sortation would plan to invest over $100 million in the region in the processing facilities. Recycling rates would actually be guaranteed at 20%. Again, there was a lot of discussion about what happened with recyclables in the past. There's no question with this contract. If they don't produce the recyclables, then there will be liquidated damages, and they can't stay in business if they can't do it, if they can't provide that 20% level. And we have actually seen this operate across the country. I've visited many sites with our consultants and our committee that's made the selection, and they are doing this in other areas. Landfill diversion rates would increase to 50% because of the additional 30% reduction in the organics, and all 8 member communities would receive the same service at the same price. And there's been some discussion now. We currently are taking Franklin's waste back to the regional landfill, but in order to conserve space at the regional landfill, we had been hauling that waste from transfer station here on General Thomas out to Waverly just to reduce the amount of waste that was going in the landfill, because our current constructed capacity is only good through July of next year. And we're in the process now of constructing cell 7. So we've been under a time crunch to try to make sure that we had enough space available through the time that the new landfill cell was actually completed and being used. Next steps, and this is one of the asks today. Each of the member communities will be asked to execute an amendment to the current use and support agreement. And remember, I told you at the beginning of the presentation that your use and support agreements would renew automatically if you don't notify us of your intent to get out of SIPSA by December. What we're asking is that instead of allowing that time frame to come, that we move forward with an amendment that would increase the length of SIPSA's agreement with each of our member communities to 20 years. And the reason for that is because of the $100 million investment from the company. The only way you're going to get a contract is if they have some reassurance that you're going to continue to do business with them over some period of time so they can repay the debt. So part of every vendor that put in a proposal for the RFP required that there be a 20-year agreement. And SIPSA can't make that agreement unless we have an agreement with our member communities that are going to bring the waste to us. If you were to vote for this amendment, it would only go in effect if SIPSA finalizes the contract with Commonwealth Sortation by December 1st of 2025. And we put that in there so that if we were not able to come to agreement on a contract and the SIPSA board did not agree with the contract, then it would go back to a 10-year deal, just like it is now, and it would give you an opportunity to decide whether or not you want to stay with SIPSA between the 1st of December and the end of the year. So we're trying to time all of this so that our member communities have an opportunity to make a decision on how they want to move forward. The new use support agreement amendments, if they're executed, SIPSA board would vote on whether or not to enter into a contract with Commonwealth Sortation prior to December of 2025. And then a supermajority of the members would be required in order to enter into that contract, which is 12 of the 16 members would have to vote yes for this contract to go into effect. So essentially what I'm trying to say is that even if this body were to agree to a 20-year extension, If the SIPSA board doesn't agree that this contract is good for the region, then that would go back to a 10-year. It would be null and void, and would go back to a 10-year agreement. Ms. Oglesby has received a copy of that, I guess at this point, from our attorney of the amendment, and I'm sure that she shared that with your council so that you all can have a chance to look over it. But it's very important for us to move forward because we can't enter into a contract with a third party unless we have that commitment from our member communities that they're going to be a part of SIPSA over the next 20 years. There will be a phased ramp up for processing capabilities through 2028. So if we were to enter into a contract with Commonwealth Sortation by the end of the year, it would take to the end of 2028 before all of the waste for the entire region would be able to be processed because they'd have to build some of that capacity. They have a plant that's currently operating in Portsmouth. It can handle 100,000 tons per year, but that's only less than a quarter of our total capacity.
So they're already operating in Portsmouth?
Yes, sir, and I'd be glad to take anybody on a tour of the facility so you can see it operate.
Is this the old Wheelabator or?
No, sir, that's where the eventual larger plant would be located, but it's currently, they are operating off of Frederick Boulevard. They bought a company called RDS, Recycling Disposal Solutions, and they put their equipment in that facility about a year and a half ago, and they've been operating over there since then. And they're open for anybody to come see the process work.
So does this recycling, is this curbside recycling or is this going to be recycling at the?
No, sir.
How would that
That's
work?
one of the great things about this particular process is because, and I'm going to be frank with you, that our society is inherently lazy, so they just don't recycle. You get 6.8% recycling, and it's because people are not going to recycle because it takes more effort, and just some people just are not going to do it. I've been involved in this business for 30 years and started a recycling program in the city of Portsmouth, and I can tell you that it is a battle every day to make sure that what goes in those recycling cans are clean, because once it's been mixed with waste, a lot of that is no longer able to be sorted out at the current plants. But this plant takes all the waste and recycles it without you putting it into two different cans. So you have one can, that can goes into this curbside collection that you currently are doing. That waste is transferred to the processing plant, and using AI and robots and other sorting mechanisms, they're able to remove the recyclables from the waste stream, and in many cases it's more valuable than what was being sorted out before, because AI is able to determine exactly what types of plastic are in there, what types of paper, what types of metal. There's a lot of benefits to using the AI and the robots. So I want to go on now to a little bit about cost. Now I want to be clear that I was asked to provide you with some costs that were dealt with if Franklin did not enter into a contract with SIPSA and you went on your own. So I had to make some assumptions. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. So I'm going to tell you that I tried to be conservative and make sure that I didn't inflate these numbers. These are as low as they could possibly be. They may be much higher depending on the way that you would go about putting that program into place. But first of all, I wanted to weigh out what is it going to cost Franklin to do alternative waste disposal, which is what SIPSA is proposing to the region. You have 3,818 tons. In the big scheme of things, that's a minuscule. We have 450,000 guaranteed tons in this contract that comes from all over the region. You have 3,818 tons.
A year?
In Franklin.
Per year?
Per year, yes, sir. The proposed costs for Franklin with alternative waste disposal would be $313,000 a year. The proposed costs for Franklin disposal effective July 1 of 2026, because you're going to get a increase next year by $2 a ton, would be $259,636. The delta between what you're paying now and what you would be paying under alternative waste disposal, SIPSA is $53,000. $53,455 to be exact. Those numbers are, I'm very comfortable with those numbers because I know where they came from. The next slide here would show, and again, I want to be clear that there's a lot of ways you could do this. For instance, you could build a transfer station of your own and you could haul waste in tractor trailers, or you could have your curbside collection trucks drive off the route, off Waverly, and then come back. Big difference in the cost of that, both short-term and long-term. This is based on having a hauling cost. I'll tell you exactly what it's based on. It's a $20 transfer station fee. It's a $45 per ton disposal rate, and that's a very, very, very low disposal rate. We pay $36, and we have 450,000 tons that we put out there when we try to get bids. You're going to be going to a landfill and saying, I've got 3,000 tons. That's a small amount to them. They're not going to give you a cut because of the volume of waste you're bringing to them. It's going to be a higher rate. That's why it's $45 a ton here. It may be higher than that, depending when you go to negotiate, especially if they don't and know you don't have another option. Then there will be $20 per ton transportation, and that's based on going to Waverly, and that's our cost. That's what we pay tractor trailer to go back and forth. That's where that number comes from. The estimated cost for disposal of waste without SIPSA is $85 a ton, and that would cost you $324,530. The proposed for Franklin disposal effective July 1, 2026, again, is the same number I gave you at the last slide, $259,636. So the delta to go it alone will be higher than the increase in the cost to go to alternative waste disposal. I do want to add that there will be additional capital costs that you would incur if you went it alone, because it doesn't make sense to have a curbside collection truck that's off the route for an hour there and an hour back, and so they're going to cut the amount of waste they can actually take in.
Take more trucks, more manpower.
A whole lot more trucks, a whole lot more labor, a whole lot more fuel. So you would want to have a transfer station of some sort, and your current transfer station is owned by SIPSA and shared by Southampton County. So Southampton County stayed in, we would need to use that transfer station to manage Southampton County's waste. So there's a lot working here, and this number, again, I want to say to you, is very, very conservative. It's likely to be much higher than that, but I didn't want to come here and tell you some big number and then it ends up being less than that. This is the least that it could possibly be. The disposal costs are going to continue to increase over the years as landfill capacity goes down, because they are not constructing new landfills in Virginia. They're filling them and closing them. And I can tell you it's taken us 5.5 years to get additional capacity at the regional landfill and a very large amount of money to do that. So that's just not something that's norm anymore. That's not constructing landfill space everywhere. So as the landfill is supply and demand, as the landfill supply, airspace supply goes down, the cost for what our airspace is remaining is going to go up, and you open yourself up to that whole issue. So with that, I'll be glad to take any questions that you might have about the presentation tonight, or any other questions you might have outside of that about SIPSA.
I'll start with Dr. Johnson.
Yes. Do you have, are you familiar with Republic Landfill in Lawrenceville?
Yes, sir, I am. It would cost you, we did the numbers on this, it would cost you about $30 a ton more to go to Lawrenceville than it would to go to the Waverly landfill. Now, there would be some competitiveness about what the rate would be. Mm-hmm. You'd be able to battle them back and forth, but neither of them are going to come down a lot from their current gate rate for trash going into that landfill. But the real issue with Lawrenceville is the transportation cost.
Okay. My second question is, I've been dealing with SIPSA for 9 years. I've been on the council for 9 years.
Yes, sir.
I've experienced with SIPSA in the time of Bucky Taylor and so forth, and his assistant became
Lisa, the bear.
Lisa, yes, and now you. So basically, my thing is, I proposed something to Bucky about 9 years ago, and that is, it was with ethanol. But I was saying, with you developing the compost and the syngas, is there any way the 8 municipalities can get a substance refund? Because what I'm saying is we're investing into SIPSA every year, and if we're going to go a long haul, I feel the city should be getting some financial refund back.
Well, you actually do in the term of your tip fee, because what any revenue that we receive, and we will be receiving some revenue from carbon credits, that goes into the factor of what your actual tip fee is. So without those credits being included in your tip fee would be much higher. So you're already receiving the benefits from the sale of even landfill gas currently. We bring in about $500,000 in revenue every year for landfill gas. That is part of how we calculate what your tip fee is, and it's complicated, but on the surface it's fairly simple. We take all the revenue that we have that we bring in outside of tip fees, and then we take our operating cost and we subtract that amount from the operating cost, and then we divide what's left by the number of tons. And that we're not a for-profit organization, so whatever we're bringing in, we're spending. So we're already doing essentially what you're saying. We're just not doing it in the form of a refund. But I will say to you this, that one of the proposals I've made to our SIPSA board is because Franklin currently does not recycle. Some of the other communities do recycle. So what's going to happen with this new program is those communities are no longer going to have to pay for the recycling. So what they are paying for recycling currently, they can apply to the increase in cost. And that makes it very lucrative for some of those communities, like Virginia Beach, where it has a lot of recycling. So what I've proposed to the SIPSA board, and I will be presenting it again at our next board meeting on the 28th this month, a little bit differently. What I did originally was said, let's let those western communities who don't currently have recycling programs pay a lesser rate. But one of the concepts of SIPSA has been everybody gets the same service and they pay the same rate. So one of the things that I'm going to take back to the board is a payment back to the 3 western communities, which would be Isle of Wight, Franklin, and Southampton County, for whatever the increase is for the first 2 years, that they receive a rebate check back from SIPSA, so that the member communities actually pay for it, but everybody's still paying the same rate. So you would pay the same rate on the surface, but you would get your rate increase back in one lump sum payment from SIPSA. So the first 2 years, there would be no increase in tip fee for, other than the typical, like next year, there's a $2
That's proposed.
tip fee.
You're proposing that.
That's what I'm proposing. And there's been a ton of discussion, and Ms. Oglesley's been a part of that discussion, that this, and I'm pushing this as the fair thing to do. And of course, if you're on the other side of the board, say, well, they haven't been paying for recycling. So, it's one of those things that we're trying to balance that out, and we will. I'm a consensus builder. That's what I do.
Well, I would like to correct it. We were doing a recycle at one time.
That's correct.
But it got too expensive, basically.
I understand.
So we decided not
But
to.
your current budget does not include anything for recycling, where their current budgets do include recycling costs, so they'll be able to say that. You don't really necessarily see any savings is the point. And I do realize that, Mr. Johnson, that you did provide recycling for years, and I understand the reason why you don't recycle anymore, same reason a lot of other people are not recycling.
Right.
So you're absolutely correct with that.
All right, Mr. Kitchen?
Thank you, Mr. Day, for coming here and talking trash.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to do is talk trash.
Mike? Copeland? Ms. McElroy?
I too have been dealing with SIPSA for a long time. And there was a time when we were paying the largest trash rate of any city in the country. Because while you say we charge everybody the same thing for the same service, Virginia Beach gets to share their tipping costs with 100,000 people. We've got 8,000. Subsequently, we end up paying a whole lot more than the average citizen, and it ends up on our utility bills. I'm concerned with a few things. One being this, even with a 2-year, say, rebate on our recyclables, we're talking about a contract that'll go till 2060. So you're talking about, okay, we gave you a break for 2 years. Now for the rest of that duration, we can go up, and we don't necessarily have any recourse because we're in the contract then. Another thing I'm concerned with is the only way SIPSA is able to, I understand you said you're a nonprofit, but the reality is you make a profit off of the trash through methods of turning in carbon and things that you were explaining. Those you don't give away. You sell those and you make money, even if it reduces our cost. Still, SIPSA is making money off of our trash, but we continue to pay more and more and more. It's almost as if, it's kind of like the Red Cross asks people to donate blood, but they turn around and sell the blood to the hospitals. So they make money off of the blood. And I'm just concerned that the timeline, in one of the quotes that you made, you said we had to give notice by December 2025, and then we have till like 1 month to give you an answer. Do we want to enter into this contract? If that is not clear, could you clarify that to me again?
I will. That's not actually what I said. If that's the way it came across, I apologize. We set December 1st of 2025 as a deadline to agree to a contract with Commonwealth Sortation.
Oh.
If we don't agree with a contract with Commonwealth Sortation, then this increase of 20 years would be null and void.
Gotcha.
And then you would have 30 days where you can start making that decision. Now, if you want to, if you're considering getting out of SIPSA, you can weigh that option between now and the end of the year. But what I'm saying is we're giving you that December the 1st, drop dead date. If we don't have a contract, this 20-year extension goes away.
But you can get that contract if you get 12 of the 16 participating members?
That's correct. That's what it would take of the SIPSA board, a supermajority. 12 of the 16 members would have to approve the contract.
Okay, so even if we didn't enter a contract by December, you still have a possibility of getting that contract with that company. So we would still be able to, would we still be able to join in if we decided after that deadline that we wanted to stay with SIPSA?
No, sir. If we don't have the 20-year agreement, I can't enter into a contract with a third party.
But if you got the other 12, you enter into the contract.
Not exactly, because it requires all of the volume. This contract is based on all of the volume for the entire SIPSA community. So we really need the entire SIPSA community's waste. So if you decided you were going to get out of SIPSA, we would have to go back to the table and renegotiate a new contract based on new numbers. And so that's one of the reasons why, it's one of those things, which came first, the chicken or the egg? We were just trying to decide, do you enter in a contract first and then ask for the use of support agreements, or do you ask for the use of support agreement increase first and then do the contract? In order to enter into the contract, we feel like we need the 20-year commitment from the communities. Then we can finalize the contract, bring it back to the SIPSA board the SIPSA board can weigh the options of that contract, which we hope to bring back to them at our next meeting, a final draft of the contract for them to look at and review, and then make a decision prior to December the 1st of 2025, whether or not they want to go into that contract or they don't want to go into that contract. And that will be based on the business elements of that contract and all the things that you've already brought out, that I'm not at liberty to really discuss a whole lot in open session because we're still in the negotiations at this point. But Ms. Oglesby has been briefed throughout the process and is aware generally of the terms of the contract, and we'll have a final contract to review at our next board meeting. So all the December 1st date was only to give you a window to still be able to let SIPSA know, I don't want to be a part of that.
Well, I'm not even saying that we don't want to be a part of that. I'm saying that you said we're only a very small portion, 3,000 tons or something like that. So I don't see why our little 3,000 tons would prevent you, if you have 12 participants out of 16, from entering the contract. And then we decide, well, we looked at all the options and we need to stay with SIPSA. Well, it's too late. You didn't sign on for the 20-year contract by December 1st, so you missed the boat. See, I just feel like we're kind of being pushed to enter that contract without having ample time to research our options thoroughly, because we are talking about a contract that will extend the time that any of us will serve on council. And the citizens will be obligated to what we decide to do. And if you decide to go up on the rates, it's nothing those citizens, the later councils can do, because we're in a contract. So I think that it's very, prudent that, we're taking into consideration, you said you need 12, which is a supermajority.
That's correct.
Out of 16. Removing those other 4, you mentioned the 3, Isle of Wight, Southampton, and Franklin. I know Franklin shouldn't be a make or break deal for this contract.
Mr. McLemore, if I can be frank with you, it is the make or break for me, because these 8-member communities have been together since the early 1980s. And to some degree, you're probably right, but that's not the approach that I've taken as executive director of this organization. The approach that I've taken is, let's find a solution for all 8-member communities that works. It's the best solution for the future. And I would be very disappointed if we were not able to get all 8-member communities on board and understanding that this is the best option for the communities long term. I have no dog in this fight. My role as a SIPSA executive director is to assist the 8 communities with developing the best long-term strategy for their waste disposal needs, and making sure that you have capacity long past the time that I'm pushing daisy somewhere. I
appreciate all that you're doing, and you in this capacity. I'm just concerned what will protect our citizens from returning to being one of the highest paying disposal clients in the nation. That's my concern. We've been here once. No other city's been there, or many other cities haven't been there. We have, so we are aware. And when our people get a utility bill, they like to raise Cain about electricity. Well, electricity isn't our largest cost. Actually, it's trash disposal. So I think that, forgive me for being overcautious and entering into a contract that could eventually cost our cities considerably. Well, thank you so much anyway.
Thank you. Mr. Grizzard? Can you go back to the Delta numbers?
Okay.
So what you're suggesting?
This slide would show what the increase to Franklin would be if you enter into if SIPS entered into a contract with Commonwealth Sortation at the $85 a ton rate.
Okay.
Excuse me, $83 a ton.
Okay.
This slide shows what my estimation of cost would be, current dollars for you to take your waste, and this is the very least that I think it could be. So In the first scenario that I gave you, which was using Commonwealth sortation, alternative waste disposal, the delta between what you currently pay and what you would be paying would be $53,455.
So if we go with the contract, you're suggesting you believe that our cost per year will drop by 53,000?
Would increase.
Would increase, okay, excuse me.
Okay.
Okay,
If you were to go it alone, your cost would at a minimum increase $64,894
so
per
it's
ton.
about a $10,000 difference
And
minimum.
again, I want to emphasize that the three bullets at the bottom, that SIPSA owns the current transfer station, so there would be some
right.
need for.
That's not including the infrastructure of building a new transfer station,
correct.
buying trucks,
That's correct.
paying people to run our own transfer station.
And the risk you take of going to a private landfill with 3,800 tons a year and saying, what can you give me for gate rate?
Right, okay, that was my first question. What is our deadline to make our decision?
Well, we're asking each one, we've sent out the amended use and support, the amendment to the use and support agreement, which is very basic, it's a very simple document. It has one thing in it. It changes the term from
10 to 20.
10-year renewal in 27 to 20 years.
Carries to
I
47.
think it's actually a little bit longer than that because the basis on when we would actually sign a contract, it has to be 20 years. So it might be a little over 20 years, but that was the intent, was to make it match the contract terms.
And at one time, the city of Franklin did pay a higher rate than others. Is that what I'm
No, sir,
hearing?
not to my knowledge, you did
Okay.
not. It was-
So our region paid the highest.
Everybody in the region, and I'm familiar with the timeframe Mr. McLemore is talking about. That was previous to 2018. SIPSA became debt-free in 2018. That was, there was a lot of reasons, and I'm not going to go into all the reasons why, but SIPSA corrected itself, and that was partly due to some state legislation that took place called the Cosgrove Bill. SIPSA remade itself. It sold the waste energy facility, which was part of the naval shipyard, to Wheelabrator, used those funds to pay off the debt, and we are currently debt-free.
Okay.
We owe nobody anything.
But everybody pays the same
And we
fees.
operate off of a cash basis, and everybody pays the same cost per ton.
Per ton.
Now, if, I will say this, to Mr. McLemore's point, if your citizens are producing more waste, then the cost per citizen would be higher. But that's not, to my knowledge, has not been the case. It's pretty matched in terms of population, and waste streams are kind of consistent across the board, and have been since my tenure as executive director, which started 5 years ago. So, yes, tip fees were $125 in previous to 2018, but since then, SIPSA has corrected some of the past mistakes, and we're one of the lowest costs per citizen in the region, in the state.
Thank you. That's all.
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to say that, so that the people at home might understand, when you say that we're all paying the same thing, you mean Virginia Beach pays the same tipping fees, whatever they may be, as Suffolk, as Chesapeake.
That's correct.
However, the way that cost is transferred is to the citizens. So a citizen in Virginia Beach might pay $4 a month for trash, just picking a round number, where a citizen in Franklin might pay $30 for trash, because they've got to divide that tipping fee up amongst a huge population, when we have to pay the same, as you said, we pay the same tipping fee as those guys, but we've got a smaller population.
No, sir. You pay a tip fee based on a ton, per ton tip fee. Your tip fee currently is $65 per ton of waste that Franklin brings to our transfer stations. Virginia Beach pays $65 per ton for every ton they bring to our transfer stations. They bring 180,000 tons. They have more citizens. So if you wanted to break it down that way, it would be based on how much trash each citizen is actually producing, would increase your cost per citizen. But the SIPS's cost is the same to everybody. The cost per ton is the same. So to lower that cost, you would have to decrease the number of tons you bring to us. Does that
Yes, thank you.
clarify that? Hopefully.
So, thank you so much. Thank
Any
you
other
for your
questions?
presentation. Any other questions?
Still asked, when did they need a decision?
Oh, what is our deadline?
Well, yeah, I can't put a deadline on the council. We're asking currently for you to consider the amendment, and so that we can finalize a contract if SIPSA board.
You're asking for us to do it tonight?
No, ma'am, no,
Oh,
sir,
okay.
no, sir. Ms. Oglesby will
Right.
work with you on when that happens, but, I can't dictate when you do that. That's up to
Understand.
you all when you make that decision. But the sooner the better for, the whole process. The sooner we know that we have all 8 together. And if we don't, I'm gonna be working to try to make sure we have all 8. And I don't, my desire here is not to leave anybody out, no matter how few tons you bring to the system. We've been together since '81. I wanna keep it that way.
Thank you.
Mayor, may I?
Yes.
I think at our last meeting, Dennis, I think the group was asking that we all try to have it, at least approved or denied by September because of the way that SIPSA has to do the negotiation for the other contract. So it was probably slated
coming
to.
up.
Coming up.
Okay. Thank you.
And if you have any further questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Either come back to you, however you want to do that, but I'm available all the time, 24 hours a day. Okay?
Oh, okay. Anytime Fitness.
Thank you very
24
much.
hours a day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Heck? I was watching the clock. I didn't want to put you off again.
That's fine. That's, it won't take that long anyway. So, the slide of our updates, if you can switch to the other slide, that's where all the. I can do it, so, all right. We got a few topics to talk about. The first one being, we've been working with GMAX. We're anticipating that they're gonna be able to fill their facility with additional manufacturing equipment, so that is forthcoming to the area, and we continue to work with them. That property's been for lease for some time, and as they've decided to try to use it themselves, as they are working to bring back some of the equipment that they make. They make a variety of medical equipment that they're trying to onshore to the community. All right. Second one is the annual report of the Franklin Business Center. Business Center, as of the end of 2024, had 123 full-time and 41 part-time employees and generated about $180,000 of revenue from the city. Those numbers are down a little bit from the previous year. We lost a large home health company that liquidated, and then Silvamo relocated their operations to Poland. So that's the largest space that we currently have available that we continue to work through. You can see the trend over time. You know, taxes are about the same. We've kind of redone how we did contracts, so a couple of the realty agents that we have in there are the reason for the spike there, and the average salary remains at about $70,000, which is well above the Franklin average for business center clients. Update on startup, the Lighthouse project opened last month. It's a very strong sales. They were the third place winner in startup 2025. I'll report, I can talk about a little bit now too. We're working with the Honeycomb, which came in second place, and the food bank to work on making the incubator kit, the commercial kitchen at the food bank into more of an incubator kitchen for businesses. So that's forthcoming. It looks like that's gonna start up in the next couple months. So we had a meeting with them last week, and things are looking good. We continue to work with Global Concentrate. The city did issue their permit or their statement saying that everything was ready to go and approval of the plans. So we're working with them to get their bonds, and they need a site disturbance permit application that should be coming to community development any day now. So the ball's in their court, and we're waiting on them. So thank you for everybody that helped us with that.
Excuse me, could we go back to the kitchen and the food bank? What were you saying about that?
The Honeycomb, Brittany Rawlings, who was our second prize winner in startup, has a vision of starting an incubator kitchen. So she's been working with the food bank, which has a kitchen, but nobody to run it. So
Right.
she'll run their kitchen. And now I do her business, but work with other potential businesses that want to rent space there. Because that's been a problem the food bank has, that they don't have the staff to really reach out to the community. So we see this as a partnership that could really benefit everybody and bring that kitchen so it's used by a lot more people than it is now.
Okay, so basically the food bank kitchen would be leased out to,
Some
someone.
of the time it'll be leased out. That's one of the things we were trying to negotiate, like how many hours. It will remain, community people will continue to be able to use it. But, you know, she'll have certain hours where potential clients can come in.
And what exactly would they be doing?
They'd be making stuff to sell. So, I mean, that's, depends on what they actually are making, you know, it's like,
Okay.
but the goal would be is they'd be making products. There was a guy that does barbecue that was in startup that's interested, but there are other clients as well. The winner of startup has a Malaysian sauce that she's interested in producing as well, but there, other people would be eligible as well. It's depending on
Okay.
what, she does charcuterie, so, and we're personally looking forward to having charcuterie, but you know, but other clients she could recruit as, you know, as they come. As she starts advertising, she have other people that, you know, based on what the what's out there.
Okay, well, that's good that the kitchen will be utilized because it was, in the beginning, it was formulated to do meals, to help the community and so forth.
Yeah, and that plan, I guess the food bank didn't
Yeah.
go ahead with that. So, I mean, they still have the kitchen and they want to utilize it for a purpose.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you. Our community vision project is back. Quantum Consulting has been hired to kind of do a branding and community vision exercise, so they'll be here next week. And we've got the mayor set up with an interview and a few other people. So you'll be hearing a little more about that. Our community visioning process should be back in the fall with an event like we did in February. I mentioned the incubator kitchen. Ryan Homes continues to build. They're told us when they got here they were going to do 50 a year, and they did 50 in 8, sold 50 in 8 months at the summit, and they're starting the new project out on Andrews Avenue. So that is a sign that they're here to stay for quite a while. The market here seems to be very good for what their product is, and the product that they're going to be offering at the new place is a little bit higher end in the low to mid threes, they told us. So, I mean, that sold very quickly at Riverwood when D.R. Horton did theirs in like 18 months. A couple other things I'll mention is we had a tourism seminar, both the mayor and city manager were present, and with the Virginia Tourism Corporation to work on a grant that our office has received for a potential project, which may be a kayak launch or kayak rentals to work with the launch. But I thought that went well, and we're continuing to kind of emphasize ways to get more people here and to get more facilities for tourism. A couple events that we're doing. We have our Professional Headshot Day back on September 23rd and 24th at the Business Center. That's something we've done the last few years with Brittany Vandeford and Studio SoCo here in Franklin that where you can sign up for now. Sign-ups usually go pretty quickly for that, so if people are interested, please reach out to us. And we're also doing an AI seminar. It's like I didn't realize you could sort trash with AI, but I guess you can do everything with that. So they have October 21st at the Business Center, which is one of our lunch and learn programs, and it's not too early to start thinking about Small Business Saturday, which is on November 29th, the day after. So we'll be reaching out. We do an advertising and push every year, and it's August, so it's time to start working on that. So the Christmas season is short this year with Thanksgiving being late, so get your holiday shopping done early. So we'll be encouraging people to do it here in Franklin. So that's what I got. So if people have any questions, I'll be glad to take them.
You said, I'm sorry, did you have anything else, Mr. Kitchen? Ms. Banks? No. You mentioned on Andrews, and that's Ryan has a project there?
And they told us they're working with the people that own that property.
Oh, okay, that's
But they're gonna be the ones
Emerson-
building it. yeah.
Emerson
Yeah.
Company, yeah, they reached out to me. Okay, I just want to make sure that's the only question I had for you.
I do have one.
Sure.
Dr. Stark. If we, any progress on, the site for a hotel?
Not at the moment. I mean, that seems to be stalled at the moment. So I know Mr. Bly was working on selling his dealership and bringing some money in. So it's like, but we haven't had an update on that in quite a while. We do reach out to him periodically.
Okay. Well, I was talking about the other one, the other site.
Yeah, that's in the same place as well.
Same place? Okay.
I do have, do you happen to know, I just noticed that they're dropping big tractor trailer truckloads of gravel over there on Mr. Bly's site. Do you know anything that may be happening over there?
I do not. I can certainly
I
ask
know
him.
about that.
You know about that.
Yeah, that is the crushed concrete that was the pad where the factory used to be. What's the name of it?
St. Regis.
St. Regis, I'm sorry, yeah. St. Regis, they crushed all that concrete. That's been there the whole time.
So nothing new is coming on.
Nothing new. That's been there all along. Yeah. I happened to ask about that just recently, so. All right,
All right, thank you all.
thank you. All right. Motion for adjournment of the work session? Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Take about a 3-minute recess. I can't see what the clock says back there. Yeah, about 3 minutes, yeah. 7 p.m. regular meeting of the City of Franklin City Council for August the 11th, 2025, called to order. Ladies and gentlemen, please turn off your cell phones if they're on, and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, if you can. Oh, I'm sorry, did you put on me? Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do a roll call of the members. Dr. Johnson?
Present.
Mr. Kitchen?
Here.
Ms. Banks?
Present.
Ms. Copeland?
Present.
Mr. McLemore?
Present.
Mr. Grizzard? Present. All right, and we're on to citizens' time. And first person on the list is Mr. Bobby Tyler. If you'll come forward, please state your name and your address. And I apologize for some reason not recognizing you at the gym this afternoon. Apologize.
That's quite all right. My name is Bobby Tyler. I live at 112 Queens Lane, and it's on that list right there. Give me 1 second. I just need to get this out. I hope my 3 minutes start now.
No, sir.
It's been highly reported in the Tidewater News, also in your meetings. Ms. Oglesby noted that the school board doesn't have any money. I'm holding in my hands bills to the school system for May, June, July, and August. In all fairness to those folks, the lady who's in charge of accounts payable is wonderful. She really is. I've talked to her. I even talked to her and she told me, she said, we're going to catch up and we're going to do 2 months and then we're going to do 2 months. My point is, and I called her back and I said, look, if you don't have the money, just wait. This is why I'm here to talk to you tonight. If it's reported that we don't have any money, and you guys go into your closed session, secret meetings, whatever you want to have, you hold a lot of dialogue. You hold dialogue that the people that pay the bills, the taxpayers and these people out here, don't ever get to hear. You come out and then you make all these motions. Well, I have a question. If we don't have any money, I'd like each one of you to explain to these people behind me and everyone listening to this on YouTube, why did you allow Miss Oglesby to get a severance package when severance packages are generally set aside when you lay somebody off or you have a reduction in force? I think the taxpayers have a right to know. That discussion wasn't held. Now, whether you put it on agenda and you answer it now or tonight, or you go home and you develop a plan in order to come back and present it to us, it's entirely up to you. But I can tell you that each one of you are paid by these folks out here and the rest of the taxpayers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Regina Hill.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Regina Hill. I live at 105 Scott Street. I come to do a little clarification at what happened at the school board meeting. So it was like a third party that sent to Ms. Wadilla, which is my rep, my ward rep. I applied for a position. Matter of fact, I was asked to get into a position called parenting rep. Okay, so they decided that I wasn't fit. So I asked, what you mean I wasn't fit? Because I wasn't interviewed. I spoke with Ms. Allen. I was in a meeting with Ms. Allen and Ms. Davis from the probation office. So some of the names was given was incorrect because it was given incorrect to her. But now I'm here now to clarify that the people that I talked to, and I was told that I was not able to get the position because I spoke up against the school board, some things I spoke against the school board. So that's one thing that I want to clarify. The second thing, I want to know what the city plan on doing for these kids that's underprivileged. these kids who can't afford to go and participate in these sports that the other kids can. I had a mother come to me and tell me she wanted her child to be on the cheer squad, but she couldn't do it because she couldn't afford the $50. So my question is, what do we have in plan for our children that parents cannot afford to participate in certain things? I meet with these kids every day, Monday through Friday. I'm supposed to be Monday through Friday, but I give them my Saturdays and my Sundays from 5 to 7. Make sure we educate them on how to read, how to write their name, what to study. We teach them biblical as well, but we're teaching them and trying to feed them every day. And my question is, what are we going to do? I mean, for the recreation portion of the school, I'm not from Franklin, but I did hear that it was a recreation thing that was in place for the kids. There was buses that was able to take the kids places. I would like for these kids to be able to go somewhere other than the city of Franklin. I want them to know that it's bigger than here. We need to take them places where they can be educated. We got to do something. We are, to be truthful, we're failing the kids. These kids cannot read, they cannot write. It blows my mind. See, because I have a heart. So when I go home, it stuff put me in tears going home. Because I'm trying to figure out, how do these kids go to school? And I got 13-year-olds in there, 14 years old, and these kids don't even know how basically to read. They're so uneducated, and it blows my mind. And we do everything, with all this arguing and bickering and trying to be on this side and that side. No, we are a community. We should be joined. We should be unified. We should be as a family. We should not look like we are so separated. I'm so sick of, we're doing a back to school event. I sent one to the city. I sent one to the school board. I sent one to the police department. We need to let the people in the city know that we are unified. We need to let the people know that we worry about the kids. And I thank God for Miss Wadia, but somebody gave it to her wrong.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Ms. Lees?
Good evening, City Manager, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. My name is Pam Lees, and I live at 1313 Clay Street. I'm speaking tonight as both a concerned citizen and taxpayer, as I have been over the past few meetings. Recently, our community has witnessed troubling actions by our local leadership in the Franklin City Public Schools, actions that undermine our public trust. Decisions have been made without transparency, data has been presented in misleading ways, and the voices of this community have been set aside. This is not how accountable government operates. I am disappointed in the resignation of our city manager. However, we must not lose sight in the urgent need to restore our public schools and ensure that they are led with integrity, transparency, and competence. There has been a clear budget shortfall, and funds have been mishandled by Franklin City Public Schools. This is malfeasance, plain and simple, and it demands an investigation. Taxpayers expect honesty, transparency, and stewardship of public resources. Our students, educators, and our entire community deserve so much better. So I urge you, City Council, to demand the resignation of their former chairman of the school board and our superintendent to resign immediately. Furthermore, I call on this council to investigate where accountability has broken down, address the financial mismanagement of funds, and take steps to restore our trust in you and our local institutions. Thank you.
Thank you. And Travis Feltz.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council, Ms. Oglesby. I had a speech written up, and when I tried to pull it up on my phone, it didn't come up as I was walking up here, so I'm just got to speak from my heart, which is fine. As you know, we seem to have a budget shortfall with Franklin City Public Schools. And as I see it, we have 3 ways that you are going to have to choose to handle that shortfall. You could raise taxes, you could borrow the money to cover it, although our credit rating may not allow us to do that. From our last meeting that I attended, that was said by Ms. Oglesby, depending on the audit. or you could require the school division to make cuts. I suggest number 3, making the school division making cuts, but it needs to be at the central office administrative level. Please do not cut programs, and I know this would ultimately probably fall on the school board, not you, but please do not ultimately cut programs that directly affect our school buildings and our teachers and our students. But we are going to have to look ahead, as maybe you already have, and figure out how we're going to handle this deficit, whatever it turns out to be. I appreciate everything that y'all have done as far as listening to the community. I thank you for the action you have taken and that you're trying to take. Some hard decisions still need to be made, but I definitely don't think it's fair to the citizens for their taxes to be raised because of this mess. And also, I don't think it's fair for programs to be taken away from students. So please consider making cuts to the central office administrative staff to cover this budget. And again, thank you for everything that you do for Franklin, for the city of Franklin.
Thank you, Mr. Phelps. Move on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
I have a question.
Motion and a second.
I have a question.
We have a motion and a second.
Before we do that,
But that's already been done. We have a motion and a second. If you wish to discuss it, you may discuss it. You may have a question, you may do that. Okay?
thank you. That's what I was asking.
Go ahead.
I know we had a
Go ahead, go ahead.
Before we do that, I received some calls and so forth, and also several legal sources. The last on the meeting concerning August 4th, 2025, the special call meeting, we voted to give severance pay to the city manager, and I was saying that was not on the agenda, basically, so we would have to revisit that to put it on the agenda in order to vote on that. We did not, it was not on the agenda.
Mr. City Attorney?
It's not on the agenda.
No, it was voted on that night during our special meeting.
But it was not on the agenda.
It was not on the agenda.
I just wanted to do things right.
It was the last action taken, I believe.
May I speak, Mr. Mayor?
Just, let's get a clarification. Who made the motion? Do we have that? You did? Okay.
And I second.
You seconded, okay.
And I would say, due to personnel in closed session was the reason why I made the motion. It was specifically directed to a personnel matter in closed session.
Okay. We voted on it in open session, but it was from our closed session.
May
But
I
if it
say
needs to be
something?
revisited, I
I'm
guess
still-
we need legal guidance to see, does it need to be revisited, or are we good as is, to clarify Dr. Johnson's comment?
Council took action based on what was discussed, so it doesn't need to be revisited.
Because it came from closed session?
It came from closed session, but there was a vote.
Okay, all right,
That's council action.
okay. We're still in comments, so, Mr. McLemore?
It's been our experience that anytime we were going to deviate from Robert's Rule of Order, we would make a motion to deviate from Robert's Rule of Order. And under Robert's Rule of Order, nothing can be discussed from this dais that is not on the agenda, giving public notice, the public advance notice of the subjects to be discussed. Now, we discuss things in closed session in regards to the personnel matter, but we did not discuss the severance package. And it would not have been brought up hadn't someone brought it up out of place. And it was, in my opinion, the attorney's duty to say, that's not on the agenda. We can discuss that, but it needs to be properly put on the agenda for discussion. So we made a motion that was not a part of the agenda, and it was voted on. You can't do that according to Robert's Rule of Order, and we did not amend the agenda to discuss what we were voted on.
Thank you, sir. It seems to me that it was a personnel matter that we discussed we didn't discuss that specific thing, but it was part and parcel to what we were talking about in closed session, and a motion can come from closed session.
My position is council took action. There was a vote, properly second. And from there, what legal advice I'm giving right now, I don't feel comfortable giving legal advice in public, but there was a vote and council can, there's your action. So,
There's your action. All
So I
right.
have a question, Mr. Mayor. So we can discuss anything we want without it being on agenda as long as we vote on it.
No, sir.
that's not what I said at all.
So if something is not on the agenda, how can you make a motion to vote on it?
That's right.
If you went into closed session for personnel matters,
That's right.
that's what happened?
We went into closed session to discuss a personnel matter, yes. But the subject that was brought up was not discussed or reached a consensus in closed session. What normally happens is we discuss issues in closed session, come up with a consensus because we cannot vote in closed session. And then that subject matter that we discussed as a consensus is brought before the council in open session, and then we vote. But we don't come out of closed session and pick something that we haven't discussed in closed session and then make a motion and vote on it.
My position is that there was a personnel matter, it was voted on, and if there is a legal requirement that is missed, I believe we should talk about that outside of the public before we obligate ourselves to more legal liabilities.
Thank you. All right. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, take the vote. Dr. Johnson, on the consent agenda?
Nay.
Aye.
Aye.
And aye. Motion carries. All right. City manager's report.
The first item that you have on your agenda is a budget amendment to accept a grant from the Franklin Southampton Charities in the amount of $10,000 and appropriate said funds to the foundation grant for use by the Franklin Fire Department and the Hunterdale Volunteer Fire Department. This is probably the first installment of the money that both of these departments will receive. There should be another one coming up in the fall.
All right. Do I have a motion that we accept agenda item number 2025-62?
I move that we accept item 2025-62.
All right.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I'll take the vote. Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
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 And aye. Thank you very much. Motion carries. Ms. Oglesby?
The next item on the agenda is to accept a grant from the Department of Criminal Justice Service in the amount of $51,385 and appropriate $36,565 into the Franklin City Public Schools FY26 operating budget. This grant has a matching amount of about $14,820, which is already part of the school's budget and appropriated in their budget that you all adopted on June 5th. The only part that you need to add is the $36,565.
All right. So the balance will come back to the city because we've already appropriated that money.
There is no balance to
No,
come
there's no
back to
balance
the
because of the
city. What
matching
you're
funds.
doing is increasing the
Matching
school's
funds.
operating budget by the $36,565.
Do I have a motion to accept item number?
I move that we accept item 2025-63.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Take the vote. Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Yeah, one question.
So this has already been appropriated. They're not asking for new money.
Correct.
No,
No, no.
no, that's not correct.
I'm sorry.
The part that has already been appropriated is the $14,820, which is the matching funds for the grant. The new amount that is going to increase their operating budget by is $36,565. And that's coming from the, I'm sorry?
How much is the school system asking for?
They're not asking us for anything. They are receiving money from the Virginia Department of Criminal Justice Services. So they're not asking us for anything, nothing from us.
Aye.
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 And I think I already got you, Mr. Johnson.
Okay.
All right, motion carries. City Manager?
The next item on the agenda is a resolution honoring Mr. Nolan Hatch for his achievement and selection to the U.S. Baseball U12 national team. And the family is here.
Do I have a, Mr. Kitchen, if you'll read that, please?
Whereas Nolan Hatch, 12-year-old resident of Franklin, has distinguished himself as an exceptional young athlete through his dedication to the sport of baseball, demonstrating remarkable skill in sportsmanship. Whereas Nolan was selected as one of the 18 players to represent the USA Baseball U12 national team in the WBSC U12 Baseball World Cup set to take place in Tainan City? Tainan City, Taiwan, from July 25th to August the 3rd, 2025. Whereas the selection comes as a testament to Nolan's hard work, perseverance, and the support of his family and coaches throughout his baseball journey. Whereas the USA Baseball U12 national team aims to continue its tradition of excellence by competing for a third consecutive gold medal, further exemplifying the high standards of the national program. Whereas Nolan's achievement serves as an inspiration to the youth in our community and highlights the importance of teamwork, dedication, and a positive attitude in sports and life. Be it resolved that we, the undersigned, commend Nolan Hatch for this significant accomplishment. Wish him and the USA Baseball U12 national team the best of luck as they prepare to compete on the international stage. Be it further resolved, we recognize the contributions of his family, particularly the encouragement from his brother Ethan, and the dedication of his coaches, which have played an integral role in his development as an athlete. Adopted this August 11, 2025, in recognition of Nolan Hatch's achievements and the values of sportsmanship and excellence he embodies. All capital Mayor.
Motion to accept the resolution. Thank
So
you.
move.
Second.
Second, I was excited for him. Ms.
Aye.
Johnson? Oh, any discussion?
I would just like to say, I'd like to commend the parents. I know this will sound crazy, but I'm almost as proud of your son as you are. When I was first told about this by a citizen, I reached out to my colleagues and said, we gotta recognize this young man. I can't think of anything since I've lived in Franklin that is such a high honor. You represented our nation. It almost brings me to tears. I'm so proud of you. God bless you and your parents, because you're exemplary of what we can achieve when we work with our children. God bless you and thank you.
Well said. have a vote. Mr. Artis?
Aye.
I have one thing to say, sir. Play ball!
Aye.
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 Aye. And Mr. McElmore, you couldn't have said it better. I think you've said what we all think.
Mayor, you need to vote.
Aye. Again, I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
Everything you want to say?
Great experience, like playing against different countries and playing with my friends and stuff.
Very good. Very good. Thank you very much.
Okay, and the last thing that's on the agenda is a proclamation recognizing the month of September as Hunger Action Month.
All right, and I don't think we need to read, is anybody here to accept that? Okay, we don't need to read that one, do we? Okay, all right. Have a motion, please.
I move to accept 2025-65.
All right, a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion, and a second, any discussion? I'll take Dr. Johnson.
Aye.
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 Aye. And aye. Thank you very much. Motion carries. Aye. All right. New business, boards and commissions. Yeah.
Been asking for 6 weeks now when I can nominate someone for the planning commission. Can you let me know when the right time? Have we been advised that there's an opening?
Have you got
I
another?
have not received anything stating that the person resigned, not anything in writing.
I guess we'll wait.
I guess we need to reach out to Mr. Darden and see what his status is, yeah. All right. Anybody else? Dr. Johnson, anything?
The boards and commission, no, not the boards and commission,
Okay.
we have a meeting, this Wednesday coming.
Right. Board meeting for the Western Tidewater Regional Jail. That's right. Anybody else? All right.
Wait a
Counsel-
minute. You're not gonna talk about the vacancy?
The vacancy at
Ward 6.
Right.
So yes, I did receive resignation from the Ward 6 school board member, Dr. Peggy Scott, so that is now open. I guess we will accept any applications the same way we did the other 2 wards. So there is a vacancy in Ward 6. Please forgive me for not stating that. But yes, there is a vacancy now.
Sure, is there a deadline that you all would like to have for people to submit their applications by?
What is,
Look, can we ask how many applications, if any, we have so far?
So far, I've only received 1.
you want to set it to our next meeting? Deadline to our next meeting? Should be the 25th?
Doesn't have to be advertised publicly.
Yeah, has it been advertised yet?
We can post it online that you will be accepting applications up until the 25th.
Okay. I've been told that the application that's online is not the most current application.
The application that's online, I think the only difference between what's online is that it does not have where you can put down Ward 6. It only has Ward 2 and Ward 5.
Okay.
I will probably get the application update to just have the ward part blank. So then that way you don't have to worry about whether or not
Okay.
somebody needs to just put an X beside which ward that
But
they're
they can
applying.
use.
But they can
the
use
one.
it and indicate
Okay.
Ward 6 is on what they're
Okay.
applying for.
All right. All right. So the 25th will be our deadline for applicants. All right. All right. And anybody else on boards and commissions? All right. Council comments. Dr. Johnson.
Yes, I have, about two, I believe. One comment is, to the, council members. Were you in agreement with the withholding of funds of money, to the school division for 3 weeks, which caused, Mr. Tyler not to get his money, basically? Were you aware of that?
We have not held back any money,
The council has not.
not a penny.
Right.
That
Council
is-
has not withheld any funds.
Is that correct?
This is correct. City council nor city administration.
Not held back a penny. The school board has apparently not voted, I'm guessing, to approve it. I don't know that. I don't know
So
that.
can I just add a quick clarification
Yes.
for that? So there are funds from the 2025 that the schools have written checks for payments that is being held in the safe in the treasurer's office because they do not have the funds to continue with making payments for 2025. As you all remember from the presentation, I indicated that based off of the numbers that the treasurer has shared with us, the schools had overspent their budget so far with money that had gone out by $3.6 million. And there was still a $500,000, or really less than that, about 400 and some K of checks that still had not been issued. And so there needed to be a decision that needed to be made in terms of what was going to happen with those checks. But however, it is not incumbent upon the city council to do that, but you need to have a discussion, I guess, in conjunction with the school board, because they're the ones that's responsible for tracking their spending, no one else.
So to be clear, one more time, the council has not, city
Council
manager
nor the-
has not,
Would have not withheld any
Right.
funds. I know there was also some discussion about they would not be able to start the school year. And again, that had to be explained to them. We're talking 2 separate fiscal years. The funds for 26 is there. They can move forward with the school year. If they choose to do so, to use, well, no, because even if they were to use their 26 money to pay their FY25 bills, it still is going to be booked back to FY25, and they still would be over what they were
Okay,
given.
all right. You said you had 2 things?
Yes, yes. I have something else, okay. Thank you for that explanation, and we will follow up on that when we have that joint discussion. Secondly is unity in the community and in our city. We need to work on that because basically we still have to move forward no matter what's going on. And it appears that we are divided, so we need to unite together to move forward as a city, as a council, as a government. That's very important. Because Davenport gave us a scenario of what we needed to do with our budget, but we didn't do that. We did half of that. So that's why we're in sort of a predicament that we're in. If we're paying them money to be our financial advisors, I think we need to take their advice. And we haven't done that. So that's why we're in the predicament that we're in. Thank you.
Mr. Kitchen?
I'm gonna piggyback off the unity. Thank you, Dr. Johnson. I've talked to everyone on this day.
Mr. Kitchen, are you using your mic?
It's on. I've talked to everyone on this dais and everybody in the audience probably. I disagree with the mayor more often than I agree with him. That's the type of relationship we had. He knows when I disagree with him, he knows when I agree with him. Some people do the underhanded thing, the sneak attacks, and the closed door meetings. So I support those people in saying, get your paperwork ready. If he was not elected officially, if he didn't win the election because of somebody else's attitude or opinion, then get your stuff ready and run for mayor next year. Because he's who we have for 15 more months, like it or not. Thank you.
Guess it's my turn. So I have a couple of comments tonight. The first comment is in reference to Franklin City Public Schools and the Franklin City Council. We left our joint meeting saying that we will form a committee that we would try to move in the right direction by coming together on one accord. We also talked about getting on the same financial system, even though they are definitely responsible for how they spend their money. We said that we would make efforts into maybe looking at the same accounting system. So there is transparency. Also, we are still in the middle of an audit that has not been done or completed, to my understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. But until that audit for me is completed, I do not feel comfortable going forward with a lot of things. So that's another thing for me. Let's see. Also, the last thing, and that's pretty much it. I'm gonna wrap it up with that. That concludes my comments for tonight.
No comments.
No comments except for thanks again, Antoine.
No comments for tonight.
All right. Dr. Johnson, I agree. Unity in the community is very, very important, but that doesn't mean the same thing to everybody. I think we need to rally around our children. We need to rally around our teachers. I don't think that means we rally around a school board that has overspent their budget by over $3 million. I think that as a city council, we're the stewards of the money. They are not. And when they overspend their budget by this amount of money, we cannot ignore it. We cannot forget it. We cannot let it go. We have to make them accountable, and they have no way to generate money without us, and yet they've spent money that doesn't exist. Well, it did exist. It came out of our general fund, the money we use to pay our bills. I'm not surprised with what there was a couple of raised eyebrows when Mr. Kitchen said what he said. I don't think that was I didn't take that as something against me. I think that was something saying, if you don't like what I'm doing, anybody in here that's a registered voter is eligible to run. This isn't an easy job. It's a very time-consuming job, and everything we deal with is passionate. People are passionate. Every one of us is passionate about our causes. Every one of you is passionate about your causes, and we can't always be in unity, but we should work together to try to find some unity and be deal with more consensus. But I can't agree with giving into to the school board any longer. And that's where I'll leave it. All right. Report on pending items. Anything? Nothing? All right. Need a motion to go and close.
So moved.
It's going to be.
I'm sorry.
I move that the City Council of Franklin, Virginia convene to a closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A-1 for the purpose of A, discussion, consideration, or interviews of prospective candidates for appointments to school board, and B, discussion, consideration of prospective candidates for the assignment and appointment of specific public officers, appointees, or employees of any public body of the City of Franklin.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call for the vote. Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
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 And aye. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we'll reconvene as soon as we're done. All right, have a motion, Mr. Grizzard, please.
Pursuant to the requirements of Virginia Code Section 2.2-3712, I move that the City Council of Franklin, Virginia reconvene in open meeting.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right. Paul, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Roll call, I'm sorry. Roll call. To accept. To go back into open. Aye. Not yet. Aye.
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 And aye. Certification.
I move that each council member certify that to the best of his or her knowledge, one, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and two, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered in the closed meeting just concluded.
All right. Any member of the public body who believes that there was a departure from the requirements of clauses 1 and 2 so state prior to vote, indicating substance for the departure and in his or her judgment had taken place. The statement shall be recorded in the minutes of the public body. To go for certification?
I certify.
I certify.
I certify.
And I certify. All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.